Hello, sixth grade. Welcome back. We're going to get started on our new lesson, okay? And this one is lesson 91. It is called Geometric Formulas, okay? And basically, this is just reiterating some things that we've kind of already talked on the entire year. And if you look on page 474, you'll see a chart, and it says figure, and then it lists a square, rectangle, parallelogram, triangle. And then the second box says perimeter, and then it lists all the formulas for the perimeter. And the third box, it says area, and it lists all the formulas for the area of that shape. Now, I wrote that behind me, as you can see on the board. And we'll just kind of go through that because that's really about what the lesson is talking about. It just wants you to use that. And remember, we have some things that we've said in here already before. First, we'll start with explaining the square, okay? What do we know about a square? We know a square has all the same sides. So every side of a square is the same. Okay, so that's what it's telling you here. Hey, to figure out the perimeter, what's the perimeter? That just means add every side. I like saying it that way because it seems simpler. So I'm even going to write that below or up top here. I'm going to write add all sides. Because to me, that seems simpler than writing down all these formulas. Hey, perimeter equals 4 times the side length. Or perimeter equals 2 times the length. And you know what I mean? This stuff is good to make sure you understand what it's saying. Okay, but in my opinion, the simplest way for perimeter, add all sides. It never ever fails no matter what the shape is. Okay, so let's do the perimeter column for each figure. We'll explain it. So, square, to figure out the perimeter of a square, you take the side length, that's what this S stands for. So whatever the side length is, if it's 5, you times that by 4 because there's 4 sides. If the side length is 22 inches, use times 22 times 4, and that's going to get you what the outer edge of the square is around the whole thing, okay? Rectangle, what the rectangle is telling you, hey, if you take the length of the rectangle and you times it by 2, and then you take the width of the rectangle and times it by 2, and add those two answers together, you will then get the perimeter. Why? Because there's 2 lengths and there's 2 widths to a rectangle. Okay, it's just saying it a little bit more fancy. Rather than saying add all sides, it's saying, hey, times the length by 2 because there's 2 lengths that are the same, times the width by 2 because there's 2 widths that are the same, and then add those together and you will get the perimeter. That's what those mean. The parallelogram, same thing, but just slightly different labels. Okay, and remember, if we remember a parallelogram, okay, what you're going to do here is this, okay? It's going to say this is 2 times the base. Okay, so whatever the base is, you times it by 2. And then whatever the sides are, you times those by 2. Then you add them together, and you get the perimeter. Again, I think add all sides is much simpler to explain. Just add every single side, and you get the same answer. Okay, but just so you're aware, the triangle, the last one, it's perimeter equals side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3. And there's 3 sides to a triangle, okay? And as you're all aware, each shape has a formula for the area. And it's always a different formula as you look for the square, okay? You take the side length and you times it by itself, S squared. That's what it's saying, area equals S squared. Remember, S stands for side. So however long the side is, if it's 10, you take 10 times 10. If it's 5, you take 5 times 5. If it's 20, you take 20 times 20. Rectangle, area of a rectangle is length times width. Okay, so you find the length, let's say it's 10, and you times it by the width. Let's say it's 5. 10 times 5, so it'd be 50, whatever squared. Okay? Parallelogram is just area equals base times height. You find the base and you times it by the height. And remember, the height of a parallelogram is going to be perfectly straight up and down, right? Just like you're getting your height measured, you stand perfectly straight up and down. They'll try to trick you with lines that are like tilted to the side. You know what I mean? Okay, so just think of that. Hey, well, what's the height? Remember, how do you get your height measured? You stand perfectly straight up and down. So look for the measurement that's representing the height, the one that stands perfectly straight up and down. You take the base, you times it by the height, and you get the area of the parallelogram. Okay? And the last thing, the triangle, you do the same thing. Take the base times the height. Okay? Just remember, the height is perfectly straight up and down, just like you'd get your height measured. Okay? Base times the height, you get that answer, and then you divide it by 2 for your final answer to get your area. Okay? That's just kind of a refresh course on what it's explaining in there. That's a little bit more of what those letters mean as well. And yeah, we'll kind of go from there. So if we got any other questions, we always get together for question and answer on Wednesdays at 12:30 and Thursdays at 2. So if we need more assistance with this, or you just want to join to listen to some folks, socialize a little bit, you're more than welcome to come as well. So thank you and have a good day.